So my name is Brandi L. I'm an alcoholic. My sobriety date is August 28th, 2021. My home group is A Vision for You. We meet in Nashville on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock, Nashville United Methodists in the bus garage. I have been a member for 3.5 years. I should remember our schedule by now, but I do not. But we are a big book study group. So if you ever are in Nashville on Tuesday nights, please come check us out. I am here to tell you in a general way what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. As you can tell by my accent or lack thereof, I am not from here. I was born and raised in Newark, Delaware. My family, both sides of my family are from North Carolina though, from the mountains. So when I moved here, I used to spend summers down here with my grandmother. She lived in Piney Creek, North Carolina. So when I moved here, it was like coming home. But I completely believe that alcoholism is hereditary and genetic. It ran up and down both sides of my family. Both of my grandfathers were alcoholics, and two of my uncles on my mom's side died of alcoholism. My mom was an alcoholic. One of my earliest memories of my mother was her going through DTs in my kitchen, although when I was young, I had no idea what that was. So it's just, like I said, I completely believe that it's genetic, and you can be predispositioned to have it. I apologize, I'm nervous. I lived with my mom and my stepdad and my 3 brothers, and I was never normal. I was a very hyper child, and I was always different. And when I say I was hyper, I mean I was hyper. My mom gave me Benadryl every single night to get me to go to bed. And I'm not sure why it never occurred to anybody that, maybe I should be tested for ADD, but it never happened. And when I was 9 years old, my little brothers were born, and my mom stopped drinking, and she never worked a program or anything like that. She just stopped drinking, and I really wish she would have. I think it would have benefited her a lot. But I remember from that point on, just something clicked in me that I wanted to save my mom. I thought it was my responsibility to rescue her and to save her and make her life better. And that was something that lasted for the rest of my life. And I took that on with a lot of people. And it was just something that I did. And not really discussing how I felt was another big thing that started, I guess, at that age. I did not have my first drink until I was 16. My brother and I hung out with my cousin a lot. My cousin Raymond and my brother Thomas had a band, and they were huge metalheads, and they, loved Metallica and Vinnie Paul, all those amazing guys, and we all hung out in my cousin's basement and had band practice. And one night my cousin hands me a warm Heineken And that was the most disgusting thing I had ever tasted in my life. And I had no idea why anybody would ever want to do that for fun. But a couple months later at homecoming, I was given a Mike's Hard Lemonade, and it was amazing. And, you know, all the stars aligned, and I didn't feel weird anymore. I wasn't worried anymore. I was funny. I felt beautiful. I could talk to the really cute bassist in the band, and I drank the whole 6-pack by myself. And, you know, after that, like they say, I was off to the races. And I never drank normally. I guess, you know, there was one time when I was, I guess, about 16 or 17, and it was me and my friend Rachel, and we were at a big park where we lived, and we convinced our friend's big brother to go get us some beer, and it just so happened it was Old English, and he got us some 40s of Oldie and some vanilla vodka. And I remember my friend Rachel had a couple sips of the vodka, and I drank the rest of the bottle. And what I remember is us standing on the roof of her car clucking like chickens. And I was in the back seat, and the older brother was backing out of the seat, backing out of the parking spot that we were in. And I remember telling him that I had to puke, and I didn't wait for him to stop. I opened the door, I leaned out, and I puked, and then I promptly fell out of the car into the puke. So I just never drank normally. There was another time where I went to the beach with it. So I was tiny at the time. Like, I've always been short, obviously, and I might have been maybe 100 pounds soaking wet at the time. And I was friends with me and my friends hung out with the lacrosse team, and they were big guys. A lot of them were like 6 foot tall, 250 pounds, and we went to the beach, and I'm going shot for shot with these guys with Southern Comfort, and we're like 8-9 shots in, and these guys are dry heaving and passed out, and I'm looking at them like, what's wrong? What's wrong with you guys? It never occurred to me that there might be something wrong. I was 19, and when I was 19, I was drinking the night that I got pregnant with my son. He was the best thing that had ever happened to me. Still one of the best things that ever happened to me. So, of course, life got quiet for a while, being a single mom at 19, and I lived at home with my mom and my family, and I would not have survived without my family, my mom. And alcohol wasn't really a big part of my life. Like, I would drink maybe 1 or 2 times a year, like on New Year's or on a birthday, and it just wasn't a big part of my life. Then I guess I was about 26, I met the father of my daughter, and he was in the Air Force. And I got married, I moved to Virginia, and there was a huge legal battle for my son, and it was a very rough time in my life, and I made really bad decisions, and it ended up being a very abusive relationship. And I had to leave my son in Delaware, and I moved away from everything I had ever known, my family. I didn't feel like myself anymore. By the end of the marriage, I didn't even feel human anymore. And I can look back now and I realize I should have gotten help. I should have gone to a doctor, but I didn't. I grabbed a bottle and I self-medicated. Which became, normal for the next several years. At that time, I worked at a daycare, and there was a gentleman there who was the father of one of the kids that I watched at the daycare, and I moved out, from my house with, my husband that I was separated with, and moved in with him. And his family drank every single day, and it was at every single event, birthday parties, baby showers, you name it. Drinking was an everyday occurrence. And so it became normal. And so at some point I crossed that line, and I don't even remember when it happened. And I remember at some point saying, to myself that I've got to stop this, and maybe I can only do this on the weekends. And that didn't happen. And then the custody battle started happening for my daughter. And I don't want to say I lost custody of my daughter, but I lost primary custody of my daughter, which I never thought would happen. I remember waking up the next morning and she wasn't there. And so for the first time since I was 19, it was just me. There was nobody else to take care of, and I had to face myself for the very first time in my life. And that was scary. I was scared to death. And I got in my car and drove to 7-Eleven and bought alcohol. And I drank 2 of those gigantic margarita things before I went to work. And that became my morning routine before I went to work. Because I didn't want to deal with myself. I had never dealt with Brandi before, and the thoughts in my head, and my drinking progressed, and it became an everyday thing. I would drink as much as possible. I would drink in the bathroom at work. I would run across the street and drink behind the dumpster at the 7-Eleven. Like, it got really bad. I would start to shake at 5 o'clock because I knew it was 5 o'clock, and my body knew it was 5 o'clock. Trying to think. And my daughter is watching all of this happen. My daughter has watched me self-destruct. She really has. So the gentleman that I was with at the time, he was a raging alcoholic, but he has let me know that I'm an alcoholic and he does not want me in his house, and he lets me know that I need to get out. So I get an apartment, and it is in a really bad part of Newport News, Virginia. And I mean, like, it's bad. It's so bad that I don't want to turn the lights out at night because there's bugs everywhere. And I'm so consumed with alcohol that I don't take care of it. Social services gets called on me because when I do have my daughter, I stay drunk. At this point in time, I'm working at a Medicaid call center, and when I'm at my job, I'm doing a really good job. But when by this time, to be able to function in the morning, I'm having to drink really high ABV, like mocktail type things, to even be able to get myself up out of bed and go into work. At one point, I had an interview with social services one day before I went into work, and my car had broken down, so I rode the bus to social services and flat out lied to social services about drinking while my daughter was with me. Got on the bus to go to work, and for some reason just thought it would be a really good idea to get drunk on the bus and listen to Tom Petty for the rest of the day. And 'cause Tom Petty's my favorite. And so that's what I did. I got off at the Wawa, then got back up on the bus, and I think I listened to maybe 3 Tom Petty songs, and I don't remember anything else except waking up in the hospital, and I blacked out, and the cops had to come get me off the bus, and just, it got really bad really fast. I would hate to see, I would lay in bed, and I remember very vividly seeing the sun start to come up and just dreading it and thinking, I can't do this again. And just realizing the hell that I was about to go through again. alcoholism was, I describe it as hell, and it was for me. I gave my whole life away for alcohol, and it was hell. I'm actually not sure why I'm remembering all of the extremely bad things right now. In 2018, my body had started to shut down. I had to have like a little old lady walker because my muscles had stopped working. And in May of 2018, I actually attempted suicide because I could not function anymore. I remember I called my best friend and I said, I'm either going to, I can't live like this anymore. I'm either going to kill myself or I've got to go get help. And so I attempted suicide that night, and I woke up and I knew at that point that I guess God had a reason for me to be here. So I went, and that was the first time that I went to treatment. And I was sober for 2 years after that. And I wish I could say that I stayed sober after that, but I did not. I went to AA, and that was in Newport News, and I got sober there, and I jumped right into service work, and I had a really awesome sponsor there. And we didn't, but sobriety in Virginia is a little different. They don't really read the big book there. There's a lot of like it's almost like choose your own adventure. They have like conversation meetings, and they have like gongs that they ring after 3 or 4 minutes, and it's just, I don't know, just different than it is here. But in 2020, I was seeing somebody. I was engaged to somebody, and I was living in Virginia Beach, and I found out that they were cheating on me. And the person that they were cheating on me with was married, and I collected all of the evidence and text messages and emails, and I called this person's spouse and informed them what was going on, and sent them all of the emails and text messages, and then I kind of threw my hands up and said, why not? And I relapsed. And that was in October of that year, and in December, my drinking had progressed to the point where I got my first DUI. But I wasn't actually driving, so technically I called the police on myself, and I was sitting in the car with the car running and the radio on, and the police, because I'd called them to help take me to the hospital, I got arrested for a DUI. And because my blood alcohol level was so high, I got arrested for that, and I got to do 20 days in jail in Virginia Beach, and it was not nice. Yep. But even that, jail was terrible. Not that it's supposed to be nice, but I got to go to jail during COVID, which is like, you're on lockdown all but maybe like an hour and a half a week. And I'll circle back to the only thing, I wasn't scared of going to jail. I was scared to death. I remember calling my mom and telling her, you know, I'm not scared of going to jail. I'm scared of having to sit there by myself with myself. As weird as it sounds, I think it was Chester Bennington said that, you know, your mind is a dangerous place, it's a dangerous neighborhood, and it's true. It's true. So I got out of jail, and I continuously kept relapsing. I didn't go back to AA. I didn't even try to not drink. So in June of 21, I called my friend Amanda and I said, you know, she lived in Wilson. I said, I'm going to go to a long-term rehab. Can I come stay with you until a bed opens up? And she said, yeah, come on. So I did. And I came to a meeting here. And it was a speaker meeting, and this really cool lady named Sarah was talking, and I heard my story come out of her mouth, which had never happened before. She explained me. And it was just amazing. Yeah, she understood me completely. I'd never met her before, and she told my story. But I was, you know, like way too shy to go talk to her or anything like that. And I went to a couple other meetings that week, and I ended up drinking again. And I drank for a few more months. I ended up in Coastal Plains, and while I was in Coastal Plains, this is how God works. While I was in Coastal Plains, my home group brought a meeting in, and Sarah was in that meeting. So I got her number, and as soon as I got out, we started working. Yeah, my life has not been the same since. So AA down here is different because we go through the book, and it's structured, and what's different this time is I have a relationship with God. That's my higher power. And I've developed a relationship with God, and you know, I absolutely am in love with him, and I hold his hand every day, and I ask to hold his hand every day. He has showed up in ways that I can't even begin to describe. That was one of the first times that I saw that, like, immediately. And they talk about surrendering, and I know that surrendering to anything sounds weak, but it's not. The peace that you get from that is unbelievable. I lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. So I joined a home group, and I started just showing up, and Sarah made me, I would always just tell everybody I was okay, I felt okay, and I hated her for it at first because she would make me explain my feelings. When I would say I was okay, she made me define what okay was. and that helped a lot. Some of the really cool things that have happened, right after I got sober, the ladies' Flynn home opened up. So I had not a very good situation that I was living in or staying in, and that house was a godsend, and it gave me the ability to have a safe place to get stable, and I will forever be grateful for that. While I was there, I worked at Food Lion, and there was this lady that came in every day, and she would buy alcohol, and I would watch her step to the side and shove it in her purse before she left. And I would pray for that lady every day, because that's something that I used to do. And so, like I said, I would pray for her every day that she would get help, because I'd been to that low point. And one day I got a call. I got a call from Earl that we were getting a new lady. And it turned out that, when I opened the door that day, that it was that lady that I had been praying for. So I see God show up like that. Within the first year and a half, I was able to, I didn't have a relationship with my son within the first year and a half, because I had learned consistency, how to be consistent in his life. I got to attend his graduation, his high school graduation. This last year has been unbelievable and amazing. I got to spend Christmas with my son and daughter, which had not happened in 11 years. A few years ago, I met an amazing person who turned out to be my best friend, who didn't want anything from me, but who just wanted me, which had never happened before. And they helped me get closer to God. They support me. They love my children. He treats my daughter like a princess, which he treats her better than her own dad. And this summer I got to marry him, and He just, I am extremely grateful for him. I never thought that I would have, I never thought that I would meet anybody like that. And we have a stinky dog that that I cuddle with every morning, and he says he's my prayer partner. Like, I cuddle him every morning, and we say our morning prayers together, which might sound crazy because he's a dog, but I'm grateful for him. I grew up. One of the amazing things that Sarah did for me. She brought up the fact that, I might want to get tested for ADD, and I did, and I have ADD, and my whole life makes sense now. And growing up, I just felt like I was really stupid because I didn't understand a lot of things, and I got tested for ADD, and it's just made a world of difference. So I actually enrolled in college, and so at 41, I'm a college freshman, and I never, ever, ever thought I would be good enough to do that. And I'm just so incredibly grateful for everything that being an alcoholic has done for me, which sounds crazy. Because had I not been an alcoholic, I never would have had a relationship with God, and I wouldn't have this amazing life. And thank you, Christy, for asking me to speak.